Hello everyone, this is a mini coder coming to you to bring you some programming tutorials. It's been a long time since I've did any YouTube videos, so I'd appreciate any feedback anybody has. If either the font's too small, free to read, or you'd like me to talk about other things, or you want me to change some of the stuff up of how I'm doing things, please let me know. Like I said, it's been a while since I've done any of these tutorials, and probably like 5 or 6 years. So my recording software has also updated, so I'm learning that all over again. So please let me know. The way I am going to be structuring these tutorials, it will probably be in a playlist at some point once I get a few together, and I believe this will probably be Programming 101. It will be called. I do all my development primarily in C#, so once we get into the actual programming part, it'll be primarily in C#. So for right now, we won't be using Visual Studio, as you can see on my screen. Visual Studio is the interface that developers use for writing code. It's probably one of the best ones that there is out there for any language. It does a lot of different IntelliSense and pre-populating things, building things together correctly, and all that stuff that we'll get into down the line. But for right now, because it's a 101 course, I wanted to kind of go over what is programming, what is object orientation. So I brought up here, just really quick, I googled object orientation. And Wikipedia's answer is, object-oriented programming is a programming paradigm based on the concepts of objects, which may contain data in the form of fields, often known as attributes, and code in the form of procedures, often also known as methods. If you come from either a procedural world, like the old days of PHP before it kind of, sort of, like to try to pretend to be object-oriented, or the C world, or COBOL, or any of that stuff, object orientation can be quite the beast to understand, so that's why I thought I'd start here, so that whether you're a brand new programmer or an old school programmer trying to learn object orientation, you have some place to start. I'm going to do mostly what's known as Pseudo Code. For right now, in this tutorial, Pseudo Code is instead of writing actual code to have to really understand the syntax or the language itself, you more put it into a sentence type structure. So I'm going to do that first, and then I'm going to move on probably in the next tutorial to a little more structured. There's two very common examples that people use for object orientation, one being animal and the other one being car. I'm not a very big car person, so I don't want to misspell stuff, so I'm going to go with animal. So when you think of objects, the objects are also called classes, and we'll go into what class means at some point. But you could look at object or classes; they're pretty much synonymous, and you could look at them as a separate file. Each one's its own file, just for now. You can put more than one class in one file, but I think if we wanted to try to make it a tangible thing for you to understand, think of it as a brand new file. Okay, so let's start with animal. So the first thing we do is we want to tell the interpreter, in this case Notepad++, but we want to tell somebody that we're making a class, right? So let's do this is the animal class. Okay? Oh, misspelled that a little. No, I didn't misspell, just missed my space. Okay. Animal has ability to yell. And just for simplicity, let's do ability to run. Ability to walk. And somebody to attack, right? Most animals can attack something. So that's our class, and let's just do end class, right? So we know where it ends. It's funny, we're almost looking like Visual Basic, but anyway. So that's our animal class, right? And if we want to tell the animal to do something, we say animal, please, because we're polite, yell, right? Animal, please, run. Okay? Now, we're going to make a new class. I know it's in the same file, but just simplicity so everybody understands it. Let's just copy this, and we're going to do the same thing, but now we're making, instead of an animal, we're making a dog, which, by the way, just so everybody knows, I know we're 6 minutes in, so before we go any further, I just want you to take note that a dog is an animal, right? I mean, I'm sure everybody knew that, but just to let you know what's coming up, just think about the fact that an animal is actually a dog. Or a dog is actually my animal, I'm sorry. Right? Okay. So, and we'll do the same thing here. We ended the class. Now that we have the class, or we made our dog, now we want the dog to yell. We want the dog to run. And we want the dog to attack. Okay. Now, in looking at this, you can see that we, again, made the class called, or the object called animal. Then we told the program, okay, I want the animal to yell. I want the animal to run. Then we made another class called dog, which had the same properties, the same capabilities. And then we had the dog do the same thing, only I added attack in there. So the dog yelled, the dog ran, and the dog attacked. Now, there's a few things going on here. One is that when you're telling the animal to run, okay, what animal? Well, I don't know. You know, a computer is only as smart as the programmer, right? I mean, we have AI, obviously, but even AI is only as smart as the people that wrote the application to make those decisions. And those are, when we get to them, those will be kind of like methods. Methods tell the computer what to do based on a decision that you're telling it to make. So this would never, in a program, this would never actually do anything because it doesn't know what an animal is. It knows that you made an animal, but it doesn't know what animal it is. So this would run, and you know, maybe you told it to echo out run or run forward, but there's not going to be any visual aspect to it because it's just an animal. What animal is it, right? Dog, however, this will do something because you can tell it, hey, I know what a dog is, and show an image of the dog, right? And have the dog yell or bark, have the dog run, have the dog attack, right? So one thing we can do here, and I'm starting to run out of time, and please, if this was too simple for you, the next one might be a little too simple for you too. You might already know about this stuff, but I'm starting as far to the beginning as I can for people, because I know how difficult this was for me and a lot of people I know. But think about this for the next tutorial, right? You have a lot of this redundancy here, right? All these abilities that animal has, the dog has, and we could even duplicate this, right? We can make a cat. It really doesn't matter, right? We can go down here, make a cat. It would do the same thing. I'm not going to do all of it, but we could just make this a cat now, and everything down here a cat, and then make a call cat. You're duplicating this over and over and over again. Is there a way that you might possibly be able to condense this into smaller chunks, smaller consumption for the computer smaller consumption for a developer using your code, smaller for you 6 months when you come back from to the code to debug something. Is there a way to make this easier, or less code, less stuff to do, um, and still get out of it what you want to get out of it? And the answer is yes. But I'd like you to think about that. Would that benefit you? All right, so I'm going to stop here. We're almost at 11 minutes, and I'm going to, in the next episode, show you guys, or the next tutorial, show you guys how you would do that, still using pseudocode. And then after we get to that, we can start going into Visual Studio. All right. Well, everybody, thank you for your time. If you like this tutorial, please feel free to subscribe, and also give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down and a comment as to why either. Thank you very much, guys. Look forward to seeing you again.